Hey there, empowered peeps. I'm Ryan to the rescue, and I'm really excited to introduce to you the new series that I'm just starting today. We're going to talk all about the lawn. And if you're new to lawn care, or if you just need a refresher, this is going to be the perfect series for you. I'm going to cover every single thing that you need to know about taking care of your lawn, but I'm going to present it in a very simple way because that's what I like. I like things that are easy and simple and doable. So in this series, I'm going to cover everything you need to know and the tools too. So we'll talk about lawnmowers and weed eaters and blowers and edgers and even spreaders too. Actually, we'll get to that today. So we're going to cover all of those things, but also how to maintain your sprinkler system and how you should be watering your lawn. And today we're going to be talking in depth about pre-emergent. So pre-emergent should be put down in early to mid-March in my area. The precise timing of when you put down pre-emergent is based on the last freeze of your area and the temperature of the soil. But if you don't want to keep track of all of that, then you can just narrow down a window of time that is appropriate for your area, which is mid-March for North Texas. So we're at mid-March, so we're right on target. And what you could do if you haven't put down your pre-emergent yet is you can just watch this video and then go run out to the store and buy some and get it down right away, and you're not too late. So first let's talk a little tiny bit about what is pre-emergent. Well, it kills the weeds in the germinating process. So basically, it prevents them from even starting to grow in the first place. Now, if you have weeds that are already growing in your yard, this pre-emergent is not going to touch them. And the pre-emergent specifically works on crabgrass and sticker burrs and things like that. Different chemicals have different specialties. So we're going to put that down today in mid-March, and then it gives us coverage and protection against weeds germinating in our lawn for 3 months. So we'll put that down again in mid-June, and then again in mid-September, and that's when we will be wrapping up our lawn care for this year. So what about weed and feed, you might say? Well, let's talk about weed and feed. So the weed control is the pre-emergent, like I just talked about. And in my area in North Texas, that should be put down in mid-March. But the fertilizer or the feed part of that shouldn't even be done until mid-April. So I'm going to recommend that you do that in 2 separate applications. Because if you try to get it all done in one product, meaning weed and feed, then you may be trying to kill the weeds too late and feed the lawn too early. And therefore, you may not accomplish either one of the goals. By the way, if you're getting value out of this content, I would love it if you would click like and subscribe. And also, if you hit that little notification bell, then you won't miss any of the other videos that I'm going to put out in this whole lawn care series, or all of my other helpful how-to videos as well. So why do I have this big hole in my lawn? Well, I'll tell you. Or better yet, watch this short video and then come right back. I'll wait. See, it's really important to prevent weeds, right? But I'm not worried. This hole will fill back in as soon as my spring lawn starts growing. So in my area, there's an absolute expert on lawn care, and his name is Neil Sperry. So I'm going to be learning everything that I need to know about lawn care from him, and then I'm going to relay that information to you. Now, of course, when I'm talking about lawn care, it's going to be specifically to my area of the world and also the climate and also my type of grass, which is Bermuda. But if you live in a different place in the world, you can still use these suggestions. You'll just have to adjust the timing to your climate. So I'll briefly touch on a few things that I'm going to dive in deeper on different subjects throughout this lawn care series. So at a later date, I will talk about the fertilizing of the lawn. And as I mentioned, that'll be mid-April, so we'll just discuss that then. And then coming up soon, I will talk about mowing the lawn, and what you do for the very first mowing session is you scalp the lawn. So you cut it really, really short and you bag the clippings, and then you can use those clippings for mulch. So, true confession time. I am in my 50s and I have never been responsible for the lawn care before. And I'll tell you a little bit about why I'm on this lawn care journey now. But I'll save that to the end for those who are interested in it. But those of you who are here to talk about lawn care and pre-emergent, let's go grab the bag of pre-emergent and the spreader and let's get started. Okay, here is the pre-emergent that I'm going to be using today. And here's the spreader that I'm going to use. It's called a Scott's Turf Builder Mini. All right, now let's take a look at the guide on the back of the bag, and it'll give us some helpful information. So first you find what kind of grass you have, and today we're going to be talking about Bermuda. And then over in this part, it tells you what weeds it'll kill, and it'll kill crabgrass and foxtail and a bunch of other stuff. Then over in this column, it will tell us how much to put down. And it says to put down 4 pounds per 1,000 square foot. And then it tells about when to put it down and when to reapply, but I've already talked about that. Now that we know we want to put down 4 pounds of pre-emergent, then we look up here on this guide and we look to see which spreader we're using. And we're going to use a Scott's. Then we follow over here and then go down to 4 pounds, and then we see the spreader setting should be at 5.5. When I'm filling my spreader with the granules, I like to use a cup because that way I don't have to pick up the whole bag and pour it in there, because one, it's kind of heavy, and two, the bag is usually stained yellow and I'm going to stain my arms and my clothes with that as well. And you could use gloves and that'll reduce your exposure to the chemicals and also reduce the yellow staining on your hands. And speaking of yellow staining, if you have any granules that end up on the driveway or your patio or sidewalk, then you should sweep those off, because it is going to stain your sidewalk if you leave it there, but also you don't want any animals coming along and eating it. And now, speaking of animals, the pre-emergent, if you put it down according to the guidelines on the bag, it is safe for animals, because those granules are going to get nestled down way down underneath the grass all the way down to your soil, and your animals won't be eating it. Now, if your dog stuck his head in the bag and started eating the pre-emergent, then that would be a problem. But if your dog comes out and walks around on the grass, that's perfectly fine. However, I wouldn't put pre-emergent down where you have chickens, because chickens peck at little things and they will think that those are granules of food, and I have had a very unfortunate incident with pre-emergent in chickens. So normally it's advised to mow your lawn before you put down pre-emergent, but my lawn was already really short, so I didn't do it this time. Also, in the next couple of weeks in this lawn care series, I'm going to be talking about using a lawnmower and scalping your lawn. So we're going to talk about that first mow of the season in a couple of weeks. But if your lawn is kind of long and you need to mow before you put down your pre-emergent, then go ahead and do that. Now that we have the spreader filled with the granules and we have the dial set for the appropriate amount, then all you do is squeeze this trigger and walk through your yard, and it spreads out about 5 feet. So as you go from one pass to the next, move over 5 feet. And if you don't want it to shoot granules out to the right, say you have a flower bed or a driveway or something like that, you can just move this switch right here and that'll block it from going out the right, but it'll still go forward and to the left. And lastly, after you get the pre-emergent all put down, you should give your yard a really good drink of water, because you want to dissolve the granules that you just put down so that it can soak down into the soil and stop that germination process of the weeds. And then any unused pre-emergent that you have, be sure to seal that up and store that away in a dry place in your garage or something like that, and wash your hands really good and your clothes really good so you can get all of those chemicals off. And your shoes might be stained yellow, so you might want to leave those at the door. If you're watching this video and you have some other helpful tips and tricks about putting down pre-emergent, I would love for you to share those in the comments. It'll be really nice to all learn together that way. And also put in the comments if you've put down your pre-emergent already for this season. And if you haven't, put in there when you're going to do it. Now, if any of you guys want to hear my personal story of why I'm on this lawn care journey at my age, then stay tuned because that's coming up next. Okay, so why am I in my 50s and I'm just now learning how to take care of a lawn? Well, because I was married for 30 years and my husband took care of everything. He took care of the cars and the lawn and the household and the finances and everything. And he did a really great job of it. But 2 years ago, he unexpectedly died, and then suddenly everything is my job. Well, my brother very, very kindly took care of all of my lawn service for 2 full years, ever since my husband passed away. And that I'm so very grateful for. But recently, and very lovingly, he just cut me off. So now I am on this journey of learning how to care for the lawn. Now, of course, my husband had all kinds of lawn equipment, so I have all of the tools that I need. I just didn't know how to do it. So I am going to research every single step of the way and make sure I share with you accurate information so that you and I can both do a really great job of taking care of our lawns. So if you're a single lady and you have found yourself in need of taking care of your own lawn, or maybe you're a widow like I am, or maybe you're a dude, and I'm so grateful for my gentlemen that watch as well. But either way, I'm going to present this information in bite-sized pieces, step by step throughout the whole way. And it's going to be simple and doable, I promise. So if you're in uncharted territory and you're just trying to figure out all of this lawn stuff, don't you even worry. I promise you, we can do it.